Happy Friday. So great to see you. It's been a couple of weeks because of Thanksgiving.
Mm.
So welcome. It'll take a second for Riverside to catch up with YouTube, but I think that we are here. I see that Angel is here
Woo!
early. Angel says, it's my birthday, so I won't be joining in tonight. We'll watch the
Ah,
stream when my hangover wears off. LOL.
felicidades.
Feliz cumpleaños. Good to see you. There we are. Hello. How do we look? How do we sound? Alonzo, say something.
Sure, yes, absolutely. I'll say all the things. We'll stay
Hi,
all
Marty.
night.
Yes, Marty says hi from Frosty, Ontario. It is foggy here in LA today. Juniper is joining from the gym. That's so sweet.
That sounds like a Sesame Street sentence.
Yeah, don't skimp on leg day, Juniper. Don't let us
No,
distract
no.
you from what you're doing. And Rob is in Sydney at 7 a.m. And Christian says hello to Christine, also in Canada. Hi guys. David says excited to see the LA Film Critics picks. You guys always have great taste. I assume very high on the Brutalist and Anora. Hope Blitz makes a comeback. Yes, basically all we're going to talk about today is award season.
Yeah,
Because
we're in the thick of it.
all the stuff happened this week. We'll let folks continue to get caught up here before we begin in earnest. But yeah, all the stuff happened this week, and LA Film Critics vote on Sunday. What happens every year is that David mentions Alonzo had a beard trim. You look nice, Alonzo.
Thank
I'm
you.
here in Georgia.
Oh, hey, that's where I'm from.
There you go. So what happens every year is that we around this time, like all this week, are cramming in screeners, and our colleagues at LA Film Critics have a whole long thread going where they try to persuade
Convince
you
each
to
other.
use your remaining hours of your life prior to the vote to watch the movies that they think are the most important. And it's
Yes.
easy to feel anxious. And for a while I did, like, oh my God, I've got to see this 3 hour long Romanian masterpiece that like one person saw. So it's I think using our time wisely is something I hope I have gotten better at.
Yeah,
So
every year I go through the process of feeling guilty and then forgiving myself. For
yeah.
like, look, I'm not seeing everything, but you know what? Almost nobody in that room has seen everything, and so we just have to kind
No.
of, it's all going to wind up with what does what do the majority think? And sometimes there have been times I think where like enough people were like, "Hey, you guys should really watch this Robot Dreams movie that hasn't come out yet, but we all have a screener of it, and it's worth taking a look at." But I think for the most part, it's just like if I haven't seen by tomorrow night when I go to bed, I'm just not going to have gotten to it. And sorry.
Yeah. So this time of year, some of the things that really matter are like 3 hours long.
Always, never fails. But I think of it this way: we watch a lot more movies than pretty much almost any Academy member does. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I look forward to that. And also there are a couple people, and Alonzo, you're one of them, that I will always check in with before the vote. Like,
mm,
what should I put at the top of my pile? What have I not seen that you think I should see? And so I use that as guidance as far
yeah.
as like making sure like if my tastes align with theirs, or I think that they have really impeccable judgment, like
Mhm.
I will go to them. And so you are definitely one of them as far as like, okay, what's
Oh.
left? What's next?
Well, thank you. And you're definitely one of few people that I turn to. Like, do I need to? Should I? How about? And you've definitely thrown some titles at me that I know I need to get in on.
Well, good. Well, fun. So we will do all of that for you this weekend, and you can follow along in various social media places.
Yep.
Yes. Good afternoon to Doug. Good to see you. And we have friends in New Zealand here. Someone's here from New Zealand. Tracy's in New Zealand. It
Mm.
Can Be is in Munich. So thank you so much for being up on movies with us, no matter where you are in the world. Yes. So award season is kind of beginning to take shape, and that shape is a blob.
Yeah, this is not a year that has a ton of front runners so far. Anyway,
Really, it's not. I mean, there's some groups that do top 10 lists, like, AFI,
National
whatever.
Board
Like,
of Review.
yeah, like some titles are showing up again and again, like Anora keeps popping up.
Sure.
But no group yet has picked Anora as Best Picture. So, for example, Anora is one of the top Spirit Award nominees. Anora and I Saw the TV Glow each got 6 nominations. So those both lead there. But like the Gotham Awards, picked A Different Man as
That
best
was
feature.
that was a stunner.
Shocking. Like, it's
Yeah.
really good, but I don't think it's a movie that has been in the conversation as, like, the handful of titles that people were expecting would be
No.
the main contenders. So does that throw a wrench in things? Not really, but it's interesting. Our friends across the way at New York Film Critics picked The Brutalist as Best Picture. They
Yeah.
picked Adrienne Brody as Best Actor and Marianne Jean-Baptiste from Hard Truths as Best Actress. That is a surprise.
Yeah, again, I think it's like what you were saying, how it's not necessarily. I think there's two things that can happen. Either very early we realize, okay, these are the movies that everybody's going to agree on, and we're all going to, it's going to be a sweep. But other years, it's like, no, everybody's going to they have their own. There's enough stuff where we each have our own, and that really vexes Oscar pundits who think that our entire job is we're here to read the entrails for them and let them figure out what's going to get Oscar gold, But like, I know in LAFCA we don't give a shit about that, and I would say pretty much just about all the critics groups that matter are like very much voting their conscience, and again, seeing movies that not everybody saw and finding what's great about them.
Yeah, it's interesting though. It's been kind of fun so far. So, like, for example, like, some things keep getting brought up over and over again. Like, No Other Land keeps
Yes.
winning Best Documentary, and All We Imagine as Light has won a couple of Best International Film Awards. Those both won at the Gothams and New York Film Critics. But then, like, National Board of Review picked Wicked, which I think is
Yeah.
very on brand.
Yes, and it's always worth remembering the National Board of Review is not a critics group. It's
No.
just people who like movies.
It's like they're not even very transparent about their membership. It's like several dozen like scholars and people
Yeah,
who
but I
like
think, but
movies.
also like I think they're just sort of enthusiasts who pay to join so they can see the screenings and stuff. But like they are not working film critics, but the word review is in their name, and so people think, oh, well, then they're reviewers. Like, well, no, they're not.
And they go first.
They're pretty early out of the gate. Although I think New York actually maybe was before them this year.
Were they? Usually
Yeah.
like December 1st they are on it. Yeah, this is always a fun inside baseball thing too. Like, oh, the New York critics vote on this day, so we can't also vote on this day. And also, let's maybe hopefully not pick the same things they pick. It shouldn't be a conscious decision to avoid the New York Film Critics picks, but I do think it's in all of our minds amid the stew.
I think when you've got a couple of things that you like and it could go either way, the thought of like, well, New York already did them, so why don't we give them some love? That might enter into it. I try not to be too colored by their judgments. Like I remember really wanting us to give Regina Hall Best Actress for Support the Girls that year, but then New York did, and I was like, oh well, we're not gonna, and we didn't.
Right. So it's all kind of happening. We're getting a lot of folks here in the comments with their thoughts on what they hope to see get some love this award season. Demi Moore in The Substance. I can imagine that she will be very much in the conversation for us on Sunday. Hello, Jesse says he loves my tree. Thank you, Costco fake tree. Alonzo has a real tree that we will see eventually.
Yes, we're going to finish putting all because we got a silver tip, so there's a ton of space between branches, so all the ornaments are going on it. That's going to happen this weekend. So next week I'll be at that end of the table, and you'll see it in its glory.
Yes. So Trevor says the AFI picks seem like a very solid list for what might end up being a best picture lineup. And let's look at what those were.
Sure.
They do 10. They do 10 movies and 10 TV shows. So their best pictures of the year alphabetically are Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune 2, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, A Real Pain, Sing Sing, and Wicked. I can imagine that those could be Best Picture nominees.
Ew, Emilia Perez?
Maybe not Emilia Perez, maybe not Nickel Boys, but I think other ones in that list are a good mix of like big box office crowd pleasers and also like art stuff. So
yeah. I mean, like, if anything, I'd say Wicked has stepped up as an Oscar front runner because it's making a shit ton of money and people like it.
Yeah.
And it's it is uplifting enough. it does not end on a bummer, and it is. I think everybody's very tetchy about like the return of people going back to theaters, and clearly they are going back to theaters to see that movie. And Cynthia Erivo gets a big belty song, which didn't hurt Jennifer Hudson's Oscar chances any. So yeah, I could see that as that will. I would be surprised at this point if that doesn't wind up at least being the most nominated film this year.
For sure. Technically, costume and
Yeah.
sound and production design, cinematography, all that good stuff. Some things here we have not yet reviewed, but will. So, like The Brutalist, we've seen, and we're gonna do in a couple of weeks. A Complete Unknown, they are screening the hell out of that. They really want all your guilds to see it.
Yeah.
So I saw it at a very, very crowded guild and press screening on the lot.
I
Nickel
will be
Boys,
seeing
we're
it
gonna
before we vote.
yes, Nickel Boys, I have seen. They're
Yep,
screening
me
that a
too.
lot too. That is a movie that if you're gonna see it, I guess you should see it in a theater. But as I told Alonzo, like it totally gave me motion sickness.
Yeah, sit in the back. It's like when Cloverfield opened. Like you might want to not be too close to the screen.
Yeah. So anyway, it's an interesting time. I do enjoy this time, despite the inherent anxiety and like the fear of not getting it all done. The type A Virgo in me is always like, oh, did I do enough? And could I have squeezed in one more? I'm saving a feel good one for my last watch before we vote. I haven't watched Janet Planet yet, and I need to see that. And that seems like a nice place to end.
And I mean, like part of it is yes, it's just impossible to keep up with everything throughout the year, and part of it is a lot of stuff just gets funneled into those last few weeks of December, and like so we're all just kind of madly catching up. One thing I try to do is before voting meetings, like rewatch what I think is my favorite movie of the year to sort of remind myself why I like it and what I want to support it in. But I don't know if I'm gonna have time. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, time for rewatches seems very generous.
Yeah.
And unrealistic. We have some questions here. Oh, Christine saying, hope Jonathan Bailey gets a big number at the Oscars. Yeah, kind of like Ryan Gosling doing I'm Just Ken. That would be very fun. I agree.
Well, there won't be any nominated songs from Wicked because they didn't write any new ones for the film version, which is surprising. And maybe they're saving that for part 2. But usually when musicals get adapted, they throw in one new one, if only to qualify in this category. Remember the Taylor Swift song from Cats?
Yeah, that's true. Jesse's also a type A Virgo. I knew I liked you for some reason. Very, very organized like me. A couple folks mentioning the Challengers score, that Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross score. I mean, that'll probably be my pick for best music on Sunday.
Yeah, same here. And if it like for me, best case scenario would be that wins the category, and then we're like, oh, can we add queer to that? And then like honor them for both. But
that does happen.
It does. But the Challenger score definitely my favorite. I like the Conclave score a lot.
Conclave. Yeah, and I just watched Baby Girl the other day. I know how much you love Baby Girl. We're going to review that pretty soon too. And that's really interesting score too, because some of that is like vocal. It sounds like it's Nicole Kidman's voice going like, ha, 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 ha.
Yes, that is that's true. I forgot about that score. It's great.
Steven mentions we'll be reviewing Flow. I would love to review Flow because it is crazy beautiful.
That is on my short list of stuff to watch before we vote because you told me how much you like it. So I need to see that.
Oh, good.
Because I watched another animated contender that isn't getting a big release until next year, and it was kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, I love Flow, and that is my pick for animated film of the year. And I wish more people knew about it, but I think our people know about it. So that gives me some hope. Yes. Jacob says, I hope that the Academy does not ignore Demi Moore's performance in The Substance and the makeup, which it absolutely should win. Wait till you see Nosferatu. I feel like Nosferatu and like Demi Moore's character could be pals.
I mean, like as always, it's, I think the best actors category is going to be very competitive this year. There's a lot of ways to go on that one.
Oh, for sure. And I do kind of think maybe we have, 5 potential best actor nominees and not a whole lot of expansion beyond that. That seems like that might be shaping up like Coleman Domingo, Adrian Brody, Timothy Chalamet,
Uh, uh,
Ray Fiennes and Conclave,
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Yeah, those all make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
So, what is Flow? Asks Leo. Flow is an animated film, like a totally wordless animated film about this cat that goes on an adventure when there is some kind of like environmental catastrophe and there's like a flood and the cat gets kind of like swept away along the water and like meets other animals and it's how they all like help each other, and it is extraordinarily beautiful and funny and stressful. Like I'm yelling at the screen, like, "Oh no, kitty, be careful!"
Is
So
it
it's really,
Latvian?
it's Latvia's Oscar entry.
Yeah.
It's great. It is so clever, and it does what we love about robot dreams. You know, like telling a story totally wordlessly
Okay.
with
No,
animals.
I will be watching it. Not having seen Flow yet, my favorite animated film this year is probably still Chicken for Linda.
That is really great too. Chicken for Lindo is really, really good. We reviewed that here. David LZ says, Christy, go ponies. Yes, let's take 2 seconds here for college football talk, if we might. My SMU Mustangs, go Mustangs, are playing tomorrow in the ACC championship against Clemson. We are favored, which is crazy to me, but this is our first year in the ACC. We were perfect. We tore through the conference, and now we get to play in the conference championship, and then like probably on to the whole playoff structure where we might meet up with like Notre Dame or Texas. And so it's wild to me. I'm really excited. A bunch of my girlfriends are going. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina, where it's going to be like low 20s.
The Hallmark guys were telling me they're having a very, very cold December over there. So yeah.
It's cold. Yes. So I'm not going because we have voting. But what I am going to do instead tomorrow afternoon is go to Alonzo's screening of Rope. Alonzo, tell us about it.
Yeah, so tomorrow I'll be at Vidiots in Eagle Rock. I'll be screening Alfred Hitchcock's Rope, which is, if you've never seen it on the big screen, is really amazing because of its whole. It was the first of the pretending to be one take movies, or at least one of the early examples of it. And I'll be signing copies of Hollywood Pride before and after the screening. It makes a lovely gift this holiday season if you wanted to snag an autographed book for somebody. I was just named, by the way, one of Library Journal's top nonfiction books for 2024. Thank you very much. So if you not have a copy of Hollywood Pride yet, it's available wherever books are sold. But if you want to come to Rope on Saturday at Vidiots, North Figaro Books will be selling books there, and I will be signing them.
Also, aren't you in a documentary coming out soon, Alonzo?
I am. Well, it's a special. The documentary might be putting too fine a point on it. But Monday night on the CW, there's a special called Best Christmas Movies Ever. And it's going to be about the best Christmas movies ever. And I'm one of the interviewees. Gray Drake, our friend, is in there. A lot of folks we know are involved, but also like, it's not just critics, but it's also filmmakers and, you know, kind of culture celebrities and like a whole mix of folks. It's 2 hours. So it should be a lot of fun, a lot of great clips. So yeah, check that out. Find where the CW is near you.
They'd be remiss if they didn't ask you to be in this.
I would have been real offended had they excluded me. So thank you, Scott Mance, for giving me the call.
I mean, we have to. Tracy asks, do we have any female directors in the mix? Yes, I would think Coralie Fargia for The Substance.
Yeah, for in the LAFCA mix, absolutely. I don't know about like for Oscars, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. Christine wants to know, have you seen Sint yet? This is a Christmas movie that she wants you to see.
I have not, and I've heard about it, and I need to check that out. So it is on my list. Thank you.
Good to know. Kay Walton says, I'm a Texas Longhorn. We are in the SEC championship. Yes, that makes sense. You guys are good. So yeah, you guys are, maybe we'll play you. It'll be like an old Southwest Conference matchup.
Wow.
Very exciting. Teddy says, I watched Rope for the first time in a few days. I thought it felt like a play. Then I read afterward that it was.
It was a play, yes, but adapted by Arthur Lawrence, who at the time was living with Farley Granger, one of the leads of the film. Yeah, it is a play. I mean, in the same way that like Dial M for Murder was, but I think that kind of gives Hitchcock a framework to play around with it. In the case of Dial M, it was his only 3D movie. In this one, it was his first color film, but it's also this thing of like, you know, running the camera for as long as they could in these long ass takes, which unlike today's sort of digital filmmakers where you can literally do a one take movie and, you know, just, you know, like Russian Ark or something and not have to cut. the magazines only held a certain amount of film, and so every 10 minutes or so they'll like zoom in on somebody's back, or on like a piece of furniture, and then whoop, we're out again and it's a new reel going. So he's working within the constructs of that. But I think also so much of that movie is about the claustrophobia and the tension of like being in that room and who's going to break and will people discover and yada, yada, yada. So I think that, even if it weren't a play first, that's the way he'd shoot it.
Christian says Jimmy Stewart is actually terrifying in Rope.
Yeah, I mean it's a darker role for him. It's his first Hitchcock collaboration before they went on to do like Man Who Knew Too Much and Vertigo and Rear Window. Arthur Lawrence says, like everybody in the movie knew how gay it was except for Jimmy Stewart.
That's really funny. Courtney's here. Command Z is here. You guys are not late. You are right on time.
Howdy, howdy.
This is good. We got a question from Chris Lighty says, will Alonzo be recording his comments on Rope for those of us who don't live in California, maybe as a Patreon exclusive?
Oh, well, if you want to shoot him on your phone, Christy.
Are you doing an intro? You're not doing a Q&A, right?
Yeah, not doing Q&A. Just a long intro, basically.
Okay, I'll shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, we hadn't planned on it, but that's not a bad idea. So sure, why not?
Daniel says, watch Seed of the Sacred Fig before voting. That is in my stack. Okay.
It's so good.
Yes.
Definitely like one of my favorite screenplays. A lot of great performances in there too.
There are a couple things I'm going to do. Like, hopefully I can get 3 more in. I want to watch Seed of the Sacred Fig, Close Your Eyes, which I know you loved.
Yes.
Also 3 hours long.
Yes.
And then my palate cleanser at the end is Janet Planet. So I'm going to try and squeeze all of this stuff in. So yes, thank you for the suggestion. Daniel, piano music in Rope gave me so much anxiety, says Ed Looney. Is it a stressful score?
It's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't remember. But I'm sure if it made you tense, it was supposed to.
Oh, right. It's Hitchcock. You can't be comfortable and happy.
Yeah.
No way. Rob wants to know, does Heretic have a chance of any awards love, Hugh Grant or screenplay? I mean, I don't think Hugh Grant is an Oscar winner. I mean, Golden Globes.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, I think it's being pushed as a comedy in Golden Globes. I read somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's going to be an Academy thing, but like horror in general has always been a hard row to hoe with those folks. So I would be surprised if not only Heretic, but like if like Long Legs or Strange Darling or even Smile 2, like films that critics have really been loving, get Academy attention. Unlikely, I would say.
Yeah, somebody farther back in the comments, I can't remember, sorry about that, but asked about are we going to do best and worst? And we are. The first week in January. We're going to hold off until then and let folks get a chance to see things. And I'm going to be gone for like a week anyway, and we're just taking off at the very, very end of the year, beginning of next year. But yeah, that first week back, we'll do best and worst for you.
Yes, can't wait.
Is your top 10 list done, Alonzo?
No.
I had to turn one in today. Brian Tallarico, my editor at Ebert, was like, your top 10 lists are due today at noon. I'm like, like, I don't know about you. I keep a list going in my phone all year long of best and worst. And like, I add, I subtract, things move around, whatever. I do it alphabetically. I know some of you guys think that's a cheat. I don't want to have to pick, what's 6, 7, and 8. They're all like the same to me. So I had to turn in my list today and I made some hard choices.
Yeah, I haven't started on it yet, and no one's given me a deadline yet. But I should ask when they want it because I'm sure it'll be like, like we were yesterday. I did get asked to vote in a year-end critics poll where the deadline is next Wednesday.
The IndieWire one.
Yes, so I'm trying to make sure I can make that one.
Christian asked, did you see The Girl with the Needle? Yes, and it is harrowing.
Not yet, but it's on one of the ones that I know I need to see. So
it is amazing. It is gorgeous and devastating, and just everyone's really good in it. So yeah, it's like very high contrast, black and white. It looks like German expressionism.
Yeah, yesterday's catch-up movie was I watched Hard Truths, and Marianne Jean-Baptiste is killing it. So she's definitely in my short list of lead performers.
Yeah, no, she's great. Really good. I saw that too. Question about, I lost it. Do you have a Letterboxd? No, we do not. I'm sorry.
I have a private one that I keep just as sort of as a list for myself, but nothing that I share.
Yes. Christine says Hundreds of Beavers is still going to make Alonzo's top 10 list.
Yes, it is. I can tell you that with certainty. Yes, it is.
Doug is also a fan of Hundreds of Beavers. It's streaming now, yes?
It's on I believe it's on Prime Video, but it's definitely on Tubi, and it's on Canopy and Hoopla. It's on Amy Nicholson's top 10 list.
Good. No, it's really, it's really
As
fun.
is Smile 2, apparently.
Yes, I love that. Matt Singer put his list out, and he put Hitman on his list. I'm like, that's a good choice. I like that. That's a fun,
you know what?
choice.
You take the last 5 minutes off Hitman, and I love that movie so much more.
Yes. Trevor's here, says he's happy to finally make one of these. Good to see you, Trevor.
Hi, Trevor.
It says, I can't wait for Hard Truths. Love Secrets and Lies. Yeah, it's really good. It's just like the way that Mike Lee will make a movie that you think while you're watching it that like nothing's really happening and there's really no plot, and then you realize how like overwhelming and insightful it is by the end. So
yeah.
Seth says John Waters put his list out. I have not seen that yet.
Yes, for Art Forum. I know that Queer is on it because Drew Droege took a screenshot and put it in his Instagram stories. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick.
I'm going to look right now too while we're here. John Waters top 10. That must be last year. John Waters top 10 list 2024. This is what you guys.
Here we go. Vulture has it. Love Lies Bleeding. Okay. Queer. The Brutalist, Hard Truths, a film called Messy. Never heard of it.
Messy, like MESSI? Like
no, MESSY, like the adjective, from a woman named Alexi Wasser, WASSER. Joker Folia de, oh, come on, John, you're trolling us now. Femme, which is good. Emilia Perez, disagree. Baby Girl, yay. And something called Vietnam.
Interesting. He stumped us.
Dave says Vietnam is opening soon. He says, who could knock off Pedro Almodovar, Sean Baker, and Guy Madden's terrific new films for my list this year? I'll tell you who, and they'd probably understand why I'm giving this spot. Why I'm giving this new, to me, filmmaker the spot. It's an eerie, surprisingly haunting drama about two young gay coal miners, one of whom, this is John Waters writing this, mind you, licks anal blood off his partner's stomach, and the other eats wax from his lover's ears before they flee together to foreign shores as immigrants in a doomed floating container. It's a beaut.
That does sound very on brand for John Waters.
Yes, yes, it does.
I admit that he picks strange stuff, and I enjoy that about him for sure. Rob asks, have either of you seen the new Paul Schrader film, Oh Canada? Was going to watch it this weekend.
Yeah, we're reviewing it soon, I believe.
Next week, I have it on the schedule.
Yeah.
Yes. Jacob says, give us a spoiler, Alonzo. Did Christmas Eve and Miller's Point make your top 10?
It is likely. I'm not. I haven't sat down to do it yet, but it's certainly up there. It's in the. It is among the best films I've seen this year. And by the way, if you were in Los Angeles and you didn't get to see it on the big screen, it is coming back to the Los Feliz 3 for like 3 nights in the next couple of weeks. So look at the American Cinematheque calendar. I highly recommend.
Ah, good. Hello from South Florida, says Sean. Yeah, we will have top 10s for you. It's always an honor to do it, and it's always stressful to do it. But I feel like it's a privilege in that, like, we've seen enough stuff that we can hopefully create a list that is, thoughtful and we're not missing anything big.
And I know my bottom 10 will include Miller's Girl.
Oh, right. We got to do worse too. I'm not sure I have 10 worse, but I can come up with something.
I always say that, and then I look at the list, I'm like, oh no, I got 10.
You're like, oh, I saw that. That was bad. Well, good. Well, we should let you guys go. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If we did not get to your comment or we have a question, please leave it down below in the comments, and keep an eye out on Sunday for our vote. It's an all-day thing, and we break for lunch just to piss off the pundits. We get hungry.
We do. And Blue Sky, LAFCA now has a Blue Sky account, so you can follow all the action there if you, like many others, left the bad place.
Is LAFCA no longer on there? Because somebody used to live tweet our picks.
I don't know if we've kept that account or not, but I know that they are on Blue Sky, and that's where they'll be posting things as they happen.
Great.
Possibly among other places. I don't know.
Great. Well, come hang out with us tomorrow if you are in LA. Come to
Yeah.
Vidiots for Rope and tune into Alonzo's Christmas movie. And we'll be back here. We're not here next week because you are traveling.
We're not here next Friday, yeah. But
We're not here next Friday for live.
But we'll be recording other stuff before I leave, and you'll be posting it throughout the week. So
Yes,
it'll
for
be
sure.
like I never went anywhere. If you're at
yes.
Christmas Con in New Jersey, come say hi. I'll be in the Deck the Hallmark booth.
Where in New Jersey is Christmas Con?
Edison, New Jersey. There's some convention center where they always have it.
Okay. Great. Well, thanks to all of you. Thanks to Obi and Christine and Marty and Jamie and everyone who is here with us for your thoughts and your passion and your interest in film and just being here with us in the middle of the day in general. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye. Let me hit end. End. Cool.
Boom.
All right, friend. So if you will please send me
a thumbnail